Hello and welcome to Scottish Car Enthusiasts, and I thought I'd give a review on 1 year's ownership with the Nissan Qashqai and some of the modifications that I've carried out on the Qashqai. So I picked this car up in February 2020 with 67,100 miles on the clock, and in the past year I have covered, wait for it, 3,700 miles. This is partly due to lockdown in 2020 and again in 2021. So I'm going to reflect over the last year. So February 2020, I first bought the car. First thing I bought for this car was a windscreen washer cap. Now I'm going to show you why. So I'm just going to put you in the mount for the time being. I shall be back in a minute or two. So, this is the windscreen washer cap for the Nissan Qashqai, and I only had the car a few days, and I was filling up the screen wash cap, and I was filling up the screen wash, and the cap somehow accidentally fell into the engine bay, into the depths of the engine bay. So I ended up purchasing one or two off eBay, and I found on drives, when I came to next top up my screen wash, I would find that the screen wash cap was missing again. So I ended up purchasing this one from the scrapyard, and what it is you've got to buy one with these sort of bendy cabley type things, so it goes into the screen wash bottle and then it clips into place. So my recommendation is, if you are looking for them, look for genuine Nissan screen wash caps with the bendy sort of cabley pole. And the next thing I carried out in this car was that I put my private plates on the car, and I also put in the number plates around. So yeah. So in March 2020 I had a good proper weekend of driving to St Abbs and over to Fife, and the car never missed a beat. And this was just a week before lockdown, and the car performed excellently. And I also at the time fitted the bonnet bra, as you can see there, to the Qashqai. Nothing really much happened in April. The car now covered 700 miles in April, and lockdown was in full flow. So the next modification was in May 2020. So first thing I fitted was the dildo gear lever, which involved a hacksaw, a second-hand gear lever and the linkage, so I could see how it all came apart, because from previous experience when I had a Nissan before, a K12 Micra, the gear lever wouldn't come off because I'd been given a gear lever before as a Christmas present, and it was found that the gear lever was bonded on. Now this dildo gear lever came from my K11 Micra that I had, and I thought it'd be quite a nice addition because I didn't like the feel of the standard Nissan gear lever. So as I said, it involved a second-hand gear lever, the linkage, a hacksaw, and to see how it all came off, it's basically brute force and ignorance springs to mind. So yep, and I also fitted the Team Hiko wind deflectors. Now I've had them on every car that I've owned since 2014, and I think they're a nice subtle addition to the car. And one of the common problems on the Qashqai is this boot surround comes off in your hand, which happened in May, and that involved super gluing it back into place. That wasn't the greatest job ever. Just looking for my notes tonight. So, June 2020, plastic dipped the front badge at the front. I'll show you that. Like so. So I'm still in two minds where to plastic dip this silver surround, but I think it just breaks up silver a wee bit. And it was also my biggest expense with the Qashqai, as I had to get a new clutch. Is that right, the clutch? Yeah, the clutch started slipping on the car. So I ended up having to buy a new clutch. Started off it wasn't too bad, but it just started getting worse and worse and worse. And by that time I'd only covered about 1,000 miles in the car, so I thought I may as well just pay the money out. And the price wasn't too bad from an independent, so I ended up just getting a new clutch. July, I made the rear stand out with this car just by putting on a chrome tailpipe finisher, and I fitted a Piper Cross air filter in the engine bay. And I also fitted, going into the car, I also fitted the Audi style repeaters. It seems to be the big craze now. Again, I got them on eBay and they weren't a perfect fit, so I ended up super gluing them to the wing. So that's that one. So that was July. Yeah, that was July. Wasn't much happened in July. August, I basically painted the brake caliper silver, as you can see, and I had to replace this tyre at the same time as well because I got a puncture in it. I found out when I was painting the calipers, and it got its most striking and visual modification to the car. Coming back a wee bit, the BTC style side stripes and the Sad Boy boards. My plan is with this car, when the better weather comes in, is to get the graphics finally finished. People have said that the driver's door and the passenger door seems a bit bare, and thinking about it, yeah, and I also just want to try and replicate the BTC Primera graphics on the bonnet with Vodafone. So that was August. October, the car went on a family holiday. because it hadn't really been used much during lockdown, I thought I quite fancy just taking it on holiday. So that, it done the job, it performed well on holiday. Next major expense on the car was 2 front tyres. The Nexons that were on the front were wearing quite thin, so I ended up buying Nanking tyres. And at that time the car clicked over to 70,000 miles. So just under 3,000 a mark here. November was the next visual modification. I quite like this one. Is my, come take you round. Is the twin exhaust system. I bought this early in October. It was an absolute bargain. This was about £100. This sort of system on eBay alone was going for between 150, 160 quid. And I bought it off a guy on the Qashqai page. And basically I think it came with a 2 litre DCI Qashqai, but they managed to make it fit. The garage that I took it to. It's not a loud system, so it's neighbour friendly. And I spent an afternoon and a morning and an afternoon undersealing the subframes on this car, because subframes on a Qashqai are quite crap and are prone to failing with the rust. December 2020, another expensive month. Had to get another new tyre, and I had the service and MOT carried out, and the car passed its MOT with 2 advisories, and they'll be getting fixed in the coming year. They're not major advisories, but I'm just going to get them fixed just for peace of mind. So January, February, it's just really spent time having fun in the snow. It's only a 2-wheel drive, and it coped really well. The only thing it never coped with was sheet ice on an undisclosed stately home driveway. Trying to get up a hill took me the best part of half an hour. But we got there in the end. So I'm just going to move into the car now, because this is a bit... I don't really want to tell you how much I've spent on it, but we are going to tell you how much I've spent on it. So, how much did I spend on the Qashqai? In a year, the Qashqai has cost me £3,288 to fuel, modify, tax, insure, consumables like tyres and exhausts, clutch. But it's actually a car that I'm enjoying, and I actually see this one as a keeper. You have to work it hard to make it to go anywhere, but once you work it hard, it's a really enjoyable car to drive. It's a nice wee town-to-town car as well. It's well built. This era in Nissan is Renault-y type quality. I would say, I believe that the clutch is possibly Renault. That's, as I said, I had to replace that. That's probably a weak point in this car, is the clutch. I believe that's Renault. But it's well built. It's economical for a 1.6. Mainly my journeys now are just like hopping around the town, so I'm getting about 31 to the gallon and the 1.6 petrol. Longer trips I'm doing about 40 miles to the gallon. Sort of combined, you're doing between 36, 37 miles to the gallon. So I like this car because these seats here, they're quite comfy. My wife has said that she really likes this car because it's quite comfy. So I quite like that. As I said, I quite like it. It's well built. There's some cheapy plastic here. Nice leathery type plastic here. This is cheap. Apart from that, it's well built. I actually like, this is the funny thing, I'll show you this. Coming back at the car again. I actually prefer this squarer face on the Qashqai. I know that the Qashqai J10 got facelifted about 2010. Was sort of curvier front grille. I actually quite like the squarer grille, and you actually don't see too many of the squarer grilled ones now. So I quite like that. As I said, I do really enjoy driving this car. Once you get the car in song, it is a blast. I mean, I was out in it the other night. I went down to sort of Dalkeith area, and the car was 3 bits of straight road with around 3 roundabouts breaking them up. And once you got on song, it was flying. And I really like that about the Qashqai. So once you get on song, it's a really great car to drive. It does handle well. Push it too hard and you do feel the roll in the bends. You do know it's you're in a higher up vehicle, but you can still push it. So, what do I not like in this car? Well, one of the things I don't like is the creaky steering. You'll not hear it, but on a cold day, the steering sometimes creaks. And that again is a common Qashqai problem. I've heard stories from that since the launch. I don't like the driver's door because it's either dropped. There's the passenger door there. There's the driver's door, and it's dropped. So it's fine at the moment, but what happens is also sometimes when you're driving along, the interior light comes on, the car starts to beep, and the door light flashes on, and it's this latch here. Works itself loose, and the door's shaking off this panel here. So that's that. I don't like that, and I also don't like. Hold on. I also find a boot lid is quite low. Now I'm just under 6 foot, and if you walk under it, that's me hitting the side of it now. So you could be in the car, you could come up, you could be in the car in the boot and hit your head off the boot. So that's another thing. That's one of the other things I don't like in the Qashqai. So to sum up, it's been a crazy first Euro in this car. I would have loved to have driven it more, considering the amount of money I've spent on it, spending on the clutch and the tyres and like. But I do really understand why people buy these cars. This car started off a new generation of crossover SUVs. I mean, it's got too popular now, but I understand why people bought into this car, because Nissan years ago, this is a cross between, you say this replaced the Torano 2 and the Almera, and you can see why people bought into it, because the Almera was an underrated car. It was bland styling wise, and this was like a breath of fresh air to the market. So I understand why people bought into it. I looked at one of these back in 2015, but when we were looking at getting a car, a bigger family car to replace our Focus, but it was deemed we needed an estate. But as I said, I think this car is a keeper on the fleet, and I want to update this head unit. I'm a dinosaur, I do like my 6-disc changer, but I keep looking at these touchscreen ones, and I really like the look of the touchscreen. And you can get ones that takes the whole complete facelift for about 190 quid. So you get the facelift and the head unit. So I'm looking into that at the minute. And I want to update that, and I also want to finish off my graphics on the car. And I really want to show this car off. I mean, the Qashqai is still an underrated car in the modifying scene, but it's a very capable car, and I quite like how I've broken this car up. Just with the graphics, it makes it stand out from other Qashqais on the road. Now our job is, I do want to get these alloys redone in time. They are corroding, they've been like that for years, so get that done as well. But I just thought I'd film a quick wee video of ownership in a Qashqai for a year. As I said, I think this car is going to be a keeper on the fleet. I can't see myself changing it anytime soon. And I'm looking forward to putting some more miles in this car and maybe coming back in a year's time and looking at how it's doing then. But for the moment, I'd just like to thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe at Scottish Car Enthusiasts TV, and I shall catch you in a future video. And also, don't forget to like and subscribe to our Facebook pages and our Instagram pages. But please, please, please hit that like button, give the channel a share, and we'll catch you in a future video.